Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special What's for Dinner with 3 special ladies I met here on YouTube. We have Erica of She Wolf Mom. She's super sweet, met her on Instagram, and she has great clean with me content. Next up we have Crystal, who is just one of the most genuine nice people I've ever met. Met her also on Instagram, and she has lots of great food related content. Then we have the super lit mama Riana. Her channel is awesome, very funny and super entertaining. Lots of mommy related content. Seeing how it's been in the 30s here where I live, cold weather food is definitely what's on the menu for this week, and what's warmer than soup. So this is what I like to call a semi-homemade meal. I've never been one to cook soup from scratch because I come from California. It's never really that cold. But it's a great way to empty out your freezer and fridge of produce that you don't want to go bad. I did go ahead and add some chicken broth since I was adding more contents to the soup. I wanted to also add more liquid, and I'm not the one to use water. Like I said before, it's a great way to get rid of produce. This broccoli had been in the freezer for a minute, and this was a great way to utilize it and not waste it. As y'all know, if you've been following me, I am heavy-handed when it comes to the seasoning. I doctor up and season up any and everything I can get my little hands on. Corn is something that I always have in the freezer, so I just went ahead and threw this in as well. Not defrost the broccoli or the corn, and just let those go for a couple of minutes, and then I dumped the full can of the chicken broth and let that simmer away. And you're going to see throughout this video I'm on a spinach kick. It just sounds good, so I threw a handful of that also in the pot. Let everything simmer and marry for about 2 to 3 minutes before putting in my spices and the actual soup. And here are all the spices. I told y'all do not play when it comes to seasoning anything. Y'all, the soup came out so good. This is a great quick dinner and a great way to get a lot of veggies in. It really hit the spot because it was like 20 degrees this day. Yes, y'all, breakfast for dinner. I had been viewing this recipe online for a minute and wanted to try it. It called for bacon, but I had sausage on hand, and there goes the spinach again, making a cameo. You'll also need eggs, of course, some kind of cheese. I had cheddar on hand, and some shredded frozen hash browns and cottage cheese, as well as some kind of non-stick spray for your pan. The recipe I had did not call for it, but you know I love to remix, so I chopped up a little bit of an onion. Used about 2 Jimmy Dean already cooked sausage patties. Gave those a good little chop. Went ahead and got my sausage and onion going in a pan just to char those up a little bit. Then I just tore up a handful of spinach. I'm telling y'all, I am just digging spinach at the moment. So just about when the spinach wilted and the onions caramelized, I take it off the heat. I'm gonna make sure that's really cold before you add it to your eggs, and I used 6 here. I would add milk, but I didn't have any on hand. Kept it super basic as far as spices, just some salt, pepper, and 21 seasoning salute. Then I added 2 handfuls of my shredded cheese. Then I added about half of this container of cottage cheese, along with the majority of this bag of frozen shredded hash browns. And I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like before it went in the oven, all mixed up. This was definitely good. I will be cooking it again, maybe try it with bacon, and I also doubled it as breakfast for the week because it is super cold in the morning. For some reason, don't ask me why. Lasagna is something I don't cook that often, but it is my wife's favorite, and anything that comes out the oven, that's cold weather food. Yeah. As I do in 99.9% of my cooking, I start off with the bell pepper, and you guessed it, an onion. And another cameo by some delicious ground turkey. I also like to add Italian sausage to most of my Italian themed meals. It's a little redder than the ground turkey, if you can see there. Kept it pretty simple this time with the spices, not too many. Yes, and I used jarred tomato sauce. Probably already know this, but you always want to put a ladle of tomato sauce in the bottom of your pan so your noodles don't stick. With my first layer, I always lay my noodles the long way. Then I will go ahead and put a couple of scoops of the meat, then sauce, then some seasoning. Then of course a layer of your mozzarella cheese. You always want to do the opposite of how you laid your first layer. This way when you cut into your lasagna, it'll stand up. Then I bake my lasagna at 375 for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how saucy you want it. And this is how it came out. So I just paired my slice with some, yes you guessed it, spinach side salad, and it was really good. Now this is one of my favorite meals, y'all. I used to live on Hamburger Helper when I was in college. But you start off with a little bit of diced onion. Yep, and you guessed it, a pound of ground turkey. All the seasoning you'll need, and you really do want to season ground turkey because it's a very lean meat, doesn't render a lot of fat. Go ahead and brown your meat as well as your onions, and then go ahead and drain any fat that does come out. And once you've drained your fat, go ahead and add your pasta. My pasta of choice at this moment is elbow noodles, as well as 1 can of beef broth and about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Once you give everything a good mix, go ahead and let it boil for about 15 to 20 minutes and your pasta should be done. Once your pasta is cooked, go ahead and put in 2 handfuls of your choice of shredded cheese. We'll add sour cream or ketchup. I don't do either and it comes out just fine. And I had this with a spring salad mix and it was delicious. P.S. This is my new favorite salad dressing. It's phenomenal. Meatloaf just screams winter to me. Don't ask me why, it just does. I always sneak mushrooms in my meatloaf. My wife hates them, but she eats them. Always gotta have your good old breadcrumbs. About 2 teaspoons of good old Worcestershire sauce. Got to film it, but I did use a small can of tomato sauce, bell peppers, as well as onions. Also gonna roast some yellow potatoes in the oven. I use a crap load of seasoning in my meatloaf. I then go ahead and wash, cube, and season my potatoes as well as oil them with a little canola oil. Then go ahead and season up my meat. I've heard of some people using egg or even milk in their meatloaf, but I find that the Worcestershire sauce as well as the tomato sauce make mine really moist. And instead of making one big loaf, I make 4 mini loaves. It doesn't look appetizing, but y'all smelled so good. I cook these at about 400 for 45 minutes covered, and then for the last 30 minutes I will do it with my sauce on top. It came out delicious. I normally have it with potatoes and some kind of broccoli, but again with the spinach salad. And if you like content such as this, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a YouTube bestie. And thank you to the 3 ladies that collabed with me. It was fun. Until next time, guys. Bye.